Hello Year 4, today is Tuesday the 23rd of February and this video is for children who have the Key Stage 2 Comprehension Year 4 Book 2 question book. Make sure that you've got that workbook with you for today, and your learning question is, can I infer what is happening in the text? So you were looking at page 10 today, Julius Caesar's goat. Okay, so before we start, I've just got a little warm up for us to get our brains working. What's going on in this picture? Can you predict what is happening in this picture? I've got some kittens sat at a desk and one has their hand up. What's going on there? What do you think is going to happen? So can you make a prediction? So can you predict what is happening here? Okay, so we've got some new vocabulary for today. We've got Julius Caesar, compensate, legions, and centurion Capricorn, okay? So Julius Caesar was born in ancient Rome and he was an army general for the Romans. So when the Romans were invading Britain and lots of other different countries, Julius Caesar was an army general and he became very powerful. He was a very powerful leader, and in the end he ended up becoming the ruler of Rome, okay? And he is the main character in today's text, which is called Julius Caesar's goat, okay? We can get the word compensate. Now, I found it very hard to find a picture for this. To compensate someone is to make up for something. So, say for example, if I said to my brother, I'll get you a chocolate cake, and I never got him that chocolate cake, and he said to me, where's my chocolate cake? I would have to compensate him by buying him a chocolate cake because I told him that's what I was going to do. I need to make up for it, okay? Another example would be, say if you were told that you were going to go to the park today and it started to rain so you couldn't go, you would be compensated because you could go another day. So mum might say, oh, we'll just go on a day when it's not raining, and you would be compensated by your mum for making up for the fact that you couldn't go that day, so you got to go on a different day. Okay, so I hope that one makes sense. Legions, that's just a large group of Roman soldiers. So legion is a large group of Roman soldiers in the army. Okay, so in the Roman army it was broken up into legions, okay, and it was just a way to identify the different groups from the different areas within Rome. The last one is a centurion Capricorn. Now a centurion means an officer. Now Capricorn is the sign of is a star sign that is associated with a particular month in the year, but it represents a goat, okay? So it just basically means someone who is in charge of a goat, okay? So Centurion Capricorn is an officer that's in charge of looking after Julius Caesar's goat, okay? So before we move on, a little bit about the text. Now I've spelt Julius Caesar wrong there. It should actually be an A, and that just goes to show that Miss Prince hasn't been editing and reading her work after she's done these beautiful slides. So Julius Caesar's goat is supposed to be funny, okay, and it was written by someone called Dick King-Smith, and most of the characters in the story are historical figures. So these are people that had an impact on the country and the world, and they have become part of history, okay. But the novel that Dick King-Smith has written is actually a fictional account of what has happened in Julius Caesar's life. So that just means that it's a recount of what's happened in Julius Caesar's life, but it's a little bit of a joke. Okay, he's made a bit of a joke out of it. He's made it humorous for the reader. Okay. So in the story, Julius Caesar has a sidekick, and that's Butter the goat. So he has a pet goat in this story. And Butter is really stinky. He smells so bad. And no one wants to be around Butter because of how bad he smells. Okay. And Caesar doesn't know that because he can't smell. He doesn't know that his best mate, Butter the goat, is stinky as. Okay. Um, so what happens is Julius employs one of the officers to look after his goat, and his officer doesn't want to do it because of how smelly Butter is. Okay. Um, so in this extract, we're looking at chapter 2, and in chapter 2, um, Caesar is going to his sworn enemy Pompey. Okay, so he's going to his sworn enemy Pompey, and he's a rival of Pompey. He doesn't like him, and he's going to confront Pompey's army. So that's what this extract is about. Okay, so you're going to read through this extract at least twice. And I want you to pick out any words that you are stuck on that we have not covered. There are some that we have covered that are in the glossary underneath to remind you what it is that what they mean and what it is that um, what it is that they mean basically. And I've tried to include some photos on my lesson today, just so you get a good idea of what each word would look like if it was a physical thing. Okay. So you're going to read through the extract at least twice, and then you're going to have a go at answering your questions. Now, you are experts at your comprehension questions, so I'm going to very quickly go through them, and I'll break down some of them that I think are a little bit tricky. But I think a lot of you are getting really good at this now. Okay, so it'll just be a little whistle stop tour for your comprehension questions. But I did want to explain what the text was about in a little bit more detail, just so you could understand what it was that you were about to read. Okay. So I've ignored question 1 because hopefully I've told you why Julius Caesar's soldiers didn't like Butter the goat. Question 2 is asking you to revisit lines 5 to 7, okay? And it's saying, what do you think might have happened in chapter 1 of this book? So after reading chapter 2, you're then going to have to infer and predict what you think happened in chapter 1. So could it be that the general needed to go somewhere? Could it be that a decision had to be made about Butter the goat? Okay, so you need to have a think about what might have happened, and you need to read lines 5 to 7. So I'll read it out loud for you, and I want you to think very carefully about what could have happened in that first chapter of the story. So, as for the man who would have executed the animal if the general's thumb had turned down, so executed means to kill, and during the Roman time, they would do a thumbs up for yes, thumbs down for no, okay? If the general's thumb had turned down, he, much to his dismay, which means sad, was appointed centurion Capricorn. Okay, so it's basically saying there the man who executed, if he had executed the animal, he had he executed it, he would have had a thumbs down. But he also would have been made Centurion Capricorn. So because he didn't kill Butter the goat, he's been made the officer of the goat. So he's actually in charge of looking after the goat now. So it's basically saying that the general had to decide whether or not to kill the goat, and he decided not to in that sentence there. So what will have happened in chapter 1? Now the answer is there for you, so have a think. So he's given his thumb down. He said, "Nah, we're not going to kill the goat." What was it that might have happened in chapter 1 then? Okay, so have a think and write your answer in full sentences for me. Okay, so I'm moving on to question 4, because I think question 3 is super duper easy peasy. It says, what do the soldiers mean when they say hard cheese in line 12? So it says here, Caesius Jurius, his mates whispered to him, which loosely translated to hard cheese. So what do we think that might mean? Now, when cheese is hard, it's very tough and difficult to cut. Okay, so what do you think they're trying to say when they say hard cheese? Have a think. What do you think they mean when they say hard cheese? Because cheese is something that smells, and some people don't like cheese. So, what is it that they mean when they've said hard cheese? Okay, is it bad luck, tough luck, nice try, or does it mean try again? Brilliant, fantastic. Okay, have a think if you need to. I would be tempted to go on the internet and I would actually write, what do we mean by hard cheese? Okay, it says there already my answer is on there. Okay, so I would actually use the internet to help me to find out what it means if I wasn't sure. Okay, and question 6, explain why nobody complained to Julius about his goat. What is it that makes Julius important? Is he the one that's in charge of all these men, of all these soldiers? Does he have the power to decide whether or not someone gets executed or loses their job? So think very carefully about what he's done in the text that has made people decide that they're not going to complain about the goat. Okay, then you've got your opinion question for question 7, and then I've got my challenge. Okay, so your challenge today is to have a look online or in a book if you've got access to something like this. Can you find out 3 facts about Chester's Roman amphitheatre? Now, I know you've been looking at the Romans in your Oak Academy for last half term, and we covered the Romans in school. We didn't look at Roman amphitheatres in school though, so I would like you to find out some information about Chester, which is a local town to us, local city to us, and I want you to have a think about 3 interesting facts. I want you to research them online about the amphitheatre. Okay, so what might it have been used for? How long has it been built? What is it made out of? What might have gone on there? Okay, have a think and let me know what you find. And last but not least, a quick reflection on today's lesson. Something that I think I did well today was, what was it that you think you did an excellent job of? Okay, have a think. You don't have to write it down. It's good to reflect on what you have learned. Okay, so have a think, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.